Are we going into this like the NFL draft? Are we going to start with our number 1 overall pick, the bad boy, the one we think is going to be the killer, and then go our 2nd round pick, our 3rd round pick, kind of a thing? You want to do it that way?
I want to do it that way.
All right, fantastic.
And my question that I have to you to counter that, do we want to do just opening weekend, or do we want to do overall by the end of the year?
I think overall, because I think it should be like an accumulation of, did these 5 movies make the most money throughout the entire year? And
Right.
yeah, so, because, like when you draft an NFL player, it's full season. It's not like, did he come right out of the gate and win 2 games and then fall on his face? So we want the whole year. How did these movies perform? And then, yeah, we'll kind of see.
I gotcha. And to let everybody know at home, we don't know each other's picks. We have alternates. We have a list. Man, oh man, we're super excited about it. Now the question is, who goes first? I think we should Rochambeau for it. I think we should do a nice quick 1, rock, paper, scissors. All bets are nothing. Everything's on the table.
All right, you ready?
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. That's how we're going to do it. All right.
Ready? Rock, paper, scissors.
The delay, man.
All right,
delay.
that's okay.
All right.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, one more. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
What do you? What the?
What is going on? All right, ready. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. What the hell? All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes, rock beat scissors. There we go. All right. We may or may not spend a little too much time together.
Right, exactly. You got the first pick of the 2025 box office.
Yes. All right. So my first pick, and I believe this to be a good first pick, my first round pick overall, number 1 in the draft, the granddaddy of them all, superheroes, the one that they all aspire to be. All the Marvel movies, all the DC movies, this is the one they're always chasing, so this only makes sense. My number 1 overall pick is Superman. I do think Superman will make a boatload of money at the box office just because of the interest in how is it going to be different. I think that the Snyder fans will show up just to bash it. I think that the Christopher Reeve fans will show up to see if it holds up to the legacy. And then I think the new generation fans, the Gunn fans, the Marvel fans will show up to support it. So I think between that, you're going to see hefty box office numbers. I do predict, I think that people will overall end up liking this movie. I think there's a lot of back and forth between the Snyderverse and it's not old school Christopher Reeve, blah, 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 blah. I see all the arguments. But I do think because of James Gunn's passion for the character, the relationship between him and his dad and how this character played a role with their relationship and his approach to it, I have strong feelings this movie is going to be really, really good. And word of mouth is going to propel this thing to massive numbers at the box office. I think it'll be iffy going in, but I think word of mouth, people will continue to go see it. So there it is, my number 1 overall pick, Superman.
Wow. You're putting a lot out there.
I'm confident, man. I'm confident.
I feel like your connection with the character might astray you a little bit. It's okay. It's fine, but I don't know, man. I don't know about
will it be the biggest box office movie of the year? I don't know, but I do think it will cross the $1 billion mark and do really well at the box office. I do think, right, because that's the benchmark now for these blockbusters, right? Does it break $1 billion worldwide?
Yeah, for sure.
I do think it breaks $1 billion worldwide. Now, is it the biggest of the year? I don't know. Is it the biggest of all time or one of the biggest of all? I do not know. I'm just confident in it will break the $1 billion mark and be a box office success.
Interesting pick.
Well, let's hear your number 1. Come on.
My number 1 pick goes to, and it's kind of along the same lines. It's actually funny that you say that. I go with the new Jurassic World. I think Jurassic World, I think it's Rebirth. I think that's what it's called. I think that's going to be the biggest film of the entire year. People are very interested because this is a whole new generation of actors coming into these roles. Scarlett Johansson's in this thing,
Yep.
leading it. So people are very curious and they love Scarlett Johansson. She's a big box office draw. So I definitely think that is going to be a big moneymaker at the box office and the biggest one of the year. I'm putting it out there. The biggest one of the
Wow.
year. And I don't know, man.
Wow.
Even though these movies sometimes are not good, they still perform very well
They do.
at the box office. That last Jurassic World movie with Chris Pine and or Chris Pine, Chris what the fuck?
Chris Pratt.
Pratt. Chris Pratt started with a P. So the last one he did with Bryce Dallas Howard, obviously they brought the legends back from the original franchise. It wasn't a good movie. It wasn't, but it still made a shit ton of money. So I think Jurassic World, the new installment, is going to be the biggest movie of the year.
Wow, that's I agree with you. I think Jurassic World will probably make decent money at the box office. I just, like you said, good or bad, they usually perform well. Bold to say it's going to be the biggest of the year. That's really bold.
That's what we're here for, man. The draft.
Okay. I think I'm bold too, though, because my pick, it's sandwiched with two other blockbusters, right? You got one the week and a half before it, one a week and a half after it, so it's going to have to come gangbangers to make money, right? So, but I think that both of our number one picks are similar in the sense that it will either revive and or likely kill the franchise.
Agreed.
Based on, right, this will either be the end of the Jurassic franchise. People will say, we've had enough, we're done. Same thing with Superman. I think it'll be like, okay, we've seen it, we've heard it, we've tried it, it's over. Let's move on. So we'll see. Yeah, I like it though, man. I like it. Okay, my number two, my second round pick, and I'm just basing this because of the massive success of the first, and you have to see how it finishes. Otherwise, you have to. So I feel really confident about this one. I feel really good. My second round pick, I select Wicked for Good. The sequel to Wicked. This is a no-brainer. This was a massive hit. It's still a massive hit. Yeah. Even if it's streaming, it's still a massive hit. And this is the type movie, sometimes people will skip a sequel, blah, blah, blah. But this is a continuation of. This isn't really a sequel. It was a break. And now we're picking back up and finishing the story type thing. So, yeah, this is a no-brainer for me. My pick in the number two round, Wicked for Good. I think this matches the success of the first one. Maybe eclipses it. But I think on level with, which means it will be one of the biggest of the year, potentially the biggest of the year, and potentially one of the biggest of all time, just like Wicked is. So there you go. My selection round two, Wicked for Good.
Yeah, I already got to go to my alternates, man. That was my number two pick. Fantastic. I already got to go to my alternates.
All right.
But I'm very confident with this one. This one was already on the list, so we're just going to bump it up one, and that's completely fine. And I'm going with Avatar, the new Avatar that's going to come out. I definitely feel like this franchise, no matter what, is going to keep drawing an audience. They're going to keep making it a theatrical experience every single time. And the technology that keeps coming out it gets better and better. And James Cameron is doing his thing. He's doing what James Cameron does. He's going to go just basically come out of the limelight or come out of the shadows and promote this thing and then go back into the shadows. That's exactly what he does. But yeah, I think Avatar, man, this franchise, it's going to be huge. I can't say that it's going to be the highest grossing franchise of all time because, Marvel. Marvel's going to be the highest grossing franchise of all time if it's not already there.
It is.
But I just it's not going to come anywhere close to that because there's only going to be so many of these Avatar films. But every time there's going to be an Avatar film, it's going to be a massive box office success. So my number 2, the new Avatar that is coming out in 2025.
Okay. Okay, that's a good pick. And I'm going to tell you why I think it's a good pick and why I'm a little upset that you chose it and it's not on my team. The massive success, and here's a bold 2025 prediction that I'm just going to throw out there and didn't even intend it. The massive success that we've seen Zoe Saldana have this past year, I'm predicting that she's going to win the Oscar, and that will propel Avatar, the new Avatar, to massive numbers. She's going to bring not only her fan base that already follow her because of Avatar and are fans, but a whole new audience to Avatar that have recently found her, be it Lioness or Amelia Perez or whatever. I think that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Damn, that's a good pick. Okay. My number 3, this is a no-brainer. I think that this is going to make a lot of money, and I think that it's going to, because it's in my opinion, and this is bold, I think this will be in the same success avenue as Spider-Man No Way Home. I think this is going to reestablish the Captain America brand back to what we expect with Captain America Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War, right? I think that people want to see this type of story with Captain America. They don't want to see the over-the-top superhero-y stuff. They want to see the espionage, the shield, the Hydra, the kind of a thing. It's why Civil War and Winter Soldier were so successful. So my pick in the 3rd round, Captain America Brave New World. I do think it is going to reestablish the Captain America franchise and get it back on track to where people wanted it to be the whole time. I think Anthony Mackie will have huge success because people have been rooting for Anthony Mackie as Captain America for quite a bit. Interest in seeing Harrison Ford as Red Hulk will propel people there, just to see that. And then there's the hint behind the cameos that they're talking about and the first on-screen appearance of Leader. As Leader. Not just, we saw him get the little shit drip into his brain, so we knew he was coming, but we're going to see big old head Leader. So, for all those reasons. So, I do think this will continue Marvel's trend of every Marvel movie opening at number 1 at the box office. I don't know if this one will crack $1 billion, but I do think it will do really well, at least $500 million worldwide, reestablish Captain America's profitability moving forward. And yeah, I think this one's going to do really well. It'll continue in the lane of Deadpool and Wolverine, as in reestablishing Marvel's dominance. This will not be one of those $100 million gone in a couple weeks like Captain Marvel was. I think this one's going to be, So Captain America, Brave New World.
Great pick, man. Great pick. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, it's surprising, but I didn't take any superhero movies on my list. I didn't do any superhero movies.
Wow.
So I know. It's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy.
Wow. Because with the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, and you're going to have Daredevil be huge, right? I think you are going to see, because, you're right. Maybe you're right Marvel took a hit. They're not but I think the resurgence of Deadpool and Wolverine and the idea that you might even see one of them pop up in one of these movies, because I think it's going to be a giant resurgence. So it's either a really bold move on your part to not take any of them, or a big mistake on your part. We'll see.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out my 4th pick. I'm on my 3rd, but I'm still trying to figure out my 4th, since you did take Wicked from me. So that, maybe I'll have one.
Sorry.
All
right.
I don't know. So we'll see. But I do know that my third pick goes to the live action Lilo and Stitch. I think that is going to do bonker numbers, in my opinion. Just because, like, the nostalgia of bringing Lilo and Stitch back, and then, of course, the live CGI Stitch. I think that's going to look absolutely amazing. And then the whole galaxy stuff, I think it's going to do big numbers to where it might even reinvent the franchise to where they do
Ooh.
more live action Lilo and Stitch films, to where they continue on past. I think they only did two, and for the animated, two or three. So I mean, they might even continue past that. So yes, my number three pick in the box office draft is Lilo and Stitch.
Interesting. Look, I'm going to commend you, though. I'm going to commend you on the pick. I think it's a brave pick because these live action remakes are hit or miss. They either go gangbangers or they're total busts, right? And I'm right there with you. I, too, am going to make a bold pick on a live action remake, and I feel confident that this one will be gangbangers and not a total bust. I'm choosing with my fourth round pick the live action version of How to Train Your Dragon. I feel really confident that this thing is going to make massive numbers because this is a beloved movie. I haven't found a single person who hates that movie or did not like that. And I'm talking adults and kids. Everybody loved that movie. And so the live action version of it, I think it's just going to come out and everybody's going to want to see it, right? Plus, you've got, how are they going to do it, right? Because you have all of this success of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. And so we've seen live action dragons, but come on, how are we going to see this dragon, right? Like, so I think the interest is going to be there. The nostalgia because it is so beloved. I think this thing's going to do gangbusters. I think it's going to come out and it's going to do massive numbers. I'm really excited about this pick. It's a risk, but I feel like it's not going to let me down. How to Train Your Dragon, live action. It's going to bring me some big money. I'm just telling you. I feel it.
I mean, Toothless does look great.
Toothless,
that first trailer, he looks great.
Yeah, and to see how big screen, full expansion he's going to look, right? Yeah. Do we see an evolution of him on screen? Does he stay where he is in this particular? Yeah, I could not be more excited for this one. It's like you said with Stitch, Toothless. Who doesn't like Toothless? Like, come on.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And I think I'm going to have to go back on what I just said because I had to redo everything in my life in my box office draft. But I think my fourth pick, I think I'm going to go with the Fantastic Four.
Ooh.
I think I'm going to go with the Fantastic Four with the same reason that you went with Superman. People want to see what Marvel's adaptation of Fantastic Four is going to look like. I think Pedro is still riding on a high. He's got Last of Us Season 2 coming out this year as well. So I think he's going to have a big, massive year. But I think the Fantastic Four film will do good or even fantastic at the box office. So I'm very excited about that. And then you have Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things. He's riding on a high too. Yeah. He was just in Gladiator too. So I'm confident. I'm confident in that pick. If you just didn't take away Wicked, fuck. No, it's fine. I'm confident. I'm confident in that pick. I'm more confident in Fantastic Four than I am in Thunderbolts. So I would much rather take in Fantastic Four over Thunderbolts.
Yeah, I didn't want to even touch Thunderbolts either. Fantastic Four is going to be because you got Eben Moss also, who's like the bear, like just massive. Vanessa Kirby's huge. She's an it girl right now. The cast is there. The interest is there, right? Yeah. But that film, it was dangerous for me to want to touch. I think that film, right? You had two rookies come out this past time in NFL, right? Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams. One is rocking and rolling and headed to the playoffs and was just doing amazing things in Washington. The other was crying in a fetal position on the bench and took himself out of the game.
It's fair.
Fantastic Four is either going to be one of those. And look, my fingers, I hope you get this one right, truthfully, because I want Marvel to get Fantastic Four right. I didn't hate the first couple movies. I thought they were really close to getting it right. The other one with Michael B. Jordan, it's a horrible disaster. But If anybody can do it and get it right, it's Marvel. So I hope this pick works for you. I hope it does, because I want to see it work. As a fan of the Fantastic Four and of the franchise comic books, I want to see it finally be successful on screen. There's so much, and you know why I think it might potentially be more of a Jaden than a Caleb for you. Robert Downey Jr. is Dr. Doom.
Yeah.
I know Galactus is the bad
valid.
guy. I know that we're going to see Silver Surfer. There's no way we see a Fantastic Four movie without at least a cameo from Dr. Doom, and that will draw audiences in. No doubt about it. So it's probably a really good pick. Okay. Now, the purpose of our 5th round pick, y'all, the purpose of the 5th round pick is to try to derail the money coming in for the opposite person. I feel pretty good about this pick because I feel like everything seems to work in favor of this film being a massive box office draw. Everything seems to be, this is going to work for Disney. It's going to be a huge hit. It's got the nostalgia. It's got the cast. It's got the interest. It's got everything that you would think would work for a just box office blockbuster hit. But I am boldly predicting that this one is going to fall hard on its face. It's going to creep people out. It's not going to be what people want to bring the kids to. It's going to just totally go, wait a minute, oops, not work. I am strapping you, my friend, with Disney's live action Snow White. I think it is going to be a box office bomb. I think it is not going to do well. Listen, I love the cast. I myself am too creeped out about the live action dwarves. They just don't look good, man. They look scary. They look like Grimm Brothers Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, not Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This is going to scare kids. People are going to bring kids to it, and they're going to be like, holy shit, they're going to... I am really predicting this one is not going to do well, and I'm hoping I am right, and it straps you with hurting your total, because I'm thinking 150 million for this bad boy, maybe 200 million, and then it will die quickly. It will die quickly and not have legs at the box office. This will do better on Disney Plus than it does at the box office. That's my prediction.
Interesting, man. Interesting. So I'm going to go with the same theme that you did, where it could be successful, but hopefully it is not. Because, we're obviously trying to throw each other off. But I think for your pick, and it's very interesting, it could bite me in the ass. It could be a very Free Guy situation where if you guys were not watching the videos... Oh, no.
I know what you picked. If
you guys were not watching the podcast or listening to the podcast before, I did not like Free Guy. And then when I finally watched it, I loved it. And it was a major box office success. But for you, brother, I'm going to pick the Minecraft movie.
I knew it. I knew as soon as you said Free Guy. I knew it. And yeah, that's... Oh my God, dude. That's... I get where you're coming from, because that's a game adaptation, which have done really gangbusters, but then...
And Jack Black has really helped with the game adaptations, and he's had a nice resurgence, but he has not had that lead role resurgence, though.
No,
He's been a great side supporting character, but he's not had that lead role. And then you have fucking the weird Jason Momoa character. So that's super weird. So I think this one is also might do well in the first weekend, but then drop off really quickly.
That's a good pick. I hope you're wrong. I hope this just turns into one of those nobody saw it coming huge box office hits, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. This was fun. So to recap what our box office for draft for 2025, my picks were Jurassic World Reboot, the new Avatar, Lilo and Stitch, Fantastic Four, and then Dustin graciously gave me the new Snow White revival, reboot, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yes.
And then for yours were...
I picked Superman, Wicked for Good, Captain America Brave New World, the live action How to Train Your Dragon, and I got stuck with as Logan said, so graciously picked the Minecraft movie. This is either going to work really well or really bad. I just, why did I know that was going to be the one you picked for me too? Because you're so in on the adaptations, the game adaptations, and so I just, yeah.
I thought about giving you Megan 2.0, but then I remembered that did really well on Peacock afterwards. So I was like, that might be a success. But definitely when you went with a high budget, high risk one, I was like, okay, let me go with my high budget, high risk one.
And, I think I like all these picks in the sense that we bounced around studios. We were fair to all the studios. But I will say, though, and I think you would agree with this, just going kind of like prediction, I do think Disney's going to have a massive. You're talking three Marvel movies. You're talking the Avatar movie. You're talking Snow White. They've got a lot coming this year that should potentially just bank them literally billions of dollars. I think it's going to be hard for the other studios to compete with Disney this year. If everything hits the way I think it's going to hit, Disney's going to have a massive year, but we'll see.
Yes, completely agree, man. Completely agree. What movie do you think is going to make the most money at the box office? Please be sure to comment down below and let us know your thoughts and opinions, because there are a lot of good ones coming out, man. We're very excited to see what happens at the box office this year.